So I went to Universal Park a couple of weeks ago before I go off to college and proceeded to get stranded in the airport on my way back home. So some context behind this trip. I'm 18, which will come into play at the end, and I was meeting my cousin from Washington in Florida. Uh, so it was just me and him. We both took flights and met up at the airport. So day one, we were pretty fine. Um, so we went to the Universal Studios part of the park first. So my parents had motion sickness, so I never went on big roller coasters. So I have a fear of heights, which was a great thing because we started off with the Rip Ride rocket, which takes you straight up and straight down on the first thing. And my cousin insisted that we go on the first row on every one of them. So no warm up. It was great. We went straight up and straight down, and I was fearing for my life, which was totally worth it. Um, yeah, so we were just trying to hit all the rides at the beginning. Like, so we just got the app and went to wait times where it was small. Like, we only waited like 20 minutes for that ride, and it's the second biggest one in the whole, out of the three parks, which was pretty nice. And then we hit all the rides. We did the whole thing by the end of that. We did the whole studios by the end of that day, which was pretty great. Um, Not gonna lie. And then we went to the main park. We did a bit, yeah, we went to the main park. We skipped Harry Potter for the time being. And then we started with the Hulk, and the Hulk was great because it launches you while you're going up, and which I was not expecting. I was like, oh, it's gonna take us down, and it does straight into a loop-de-loop, and it was like, yeah. So I've done so the first roller coaster I did with my that was big was the Hydra at Disney World, or Dorney World, and the only time I was fearing for my life was when I was upside down, because I thought I was gonna fall off the cart. That is my only fear, okay, as a roller coaster. I don't care about the high speeds. Uh, I do care about the height, okay, but it's mostly because the railings might fail at any time, and I'm mortified that if I ever have it, okay? I know they can't afford to make one mistake, but I don't want to be the one mistake they can't afford to make. It's very inconvenient to me. Um, so then we went to the main ride, and they just opened the Velocicoaster, which we only did at night. We did it at all 3 days. We only did it at night. That was pretty cool. Um, yeah, so we went, and I collect magnets wherever I go, and when I was a kid, I was like 3 or 4, we went to Universal and Disney, and the thing I wanted most was I only wanted to buy something because of the cool looking bag, and it was still the same story, okay? The bags at Universal are amazing. I like it so much, okay? I brought them home along with magnets. I also bought a shirt because it's the only dinosaur shirt I have, and if I wasn't going to be a comp-sci major, I would have been a paleontologist, so I got a dinosaur shirt, which was great. Um, so we do a big 3 rides called Velocicoaster, and the Ride Rocket Velocicoaster was cool because it's like the Hulk, except you're going very fast, and it's a combination of Rip Ride Rocket and the Hulk. It's really fun, and it's also long, so it's worth the wait. And it was like an hour and a half of wait. Um, yeah, I wear glasses, and I had to take those off because I don't want them to fall over. Like at night, we did go to CVS to buy the bands, but like the second I tried to put them on the glasses, they snapped, and they weren't that tight. So like if I go upside down, I'm saying bye to my glasses. So that was fun. And my cousin lost his credit card somehow. which was another thing. That was the third credit card he lost, because he likes to travel in like a month. So, very responsible adults here. And so the day two, we did the big rides again. We didn't go to the studios because there was only one really good ride there. So, and then we went to Harry Potter. We did both sides of Harry Potter. And the Harry Potter bag, I needed to get that too, of course. And I needed that magnet. Um, and then we did go. Well, I liked a lot of the rides there. Um, the Harry Potter ride, I liked. So we were trying to get to Hagrid, which we did on the last second of the third day. Well, second to last ride of the third day, because they changed it to a smart line, and it would like fill up the second we would do it. So I was like, okay, it's the last day, I gotta do this. So I refreshed the app like every 30 seconds. It was, and finally it got there. And then this was also during the time where we watched England versus Italy. It did not come home, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Then we did. So since we did all the rides on the first 2 days, we went to the water park on the third day. And it was like a generic water park, okay? Nothing too special. A lot of the stuff was overhyped. We did the thing where the floor comes out behind you. Like, I'm a swimmer, okay? Unlike roller coasters, I can handle the very scary water rides, okay? I feel safe in water, okay? Uh, which is why, um, I was absolutely scared out of my mind when the floor comes out, because it was the first time I've ever done it. Because I was too afraid to do it before. But any other ride, okay, I've done it. At Elmo Park, the tube came. I did a tube ride without a tube, because somehow I slipped out of the tube, okay? It was whatever. I survived. It's fine. Water is my best friend. But we moved. And then we talked to the park manager, right? And the park manager's overhyping. He's like, look, there's this big slide, and it has a 6-foot drop. You get a lot of air time. And we have a water coaster. It's pretty much like the water coasters you did in the main park. But trust me, our water coaster is way better. And then we also have a very fast lazy river, which is basically exactly what it is. But you have to wear life jackets for some reason, even though you don't really need them. I don't know. Some guy got a nosebleed from it, so maybe it's dangerous. Honestly, it didn't feel that dangerous to me. The 6 feet drop, okay, it was overhyped. It was not that bad. It was like a short slide into the thing. It was not that bad at all. And then we go home, we go back up, we go to Hagrid, we do Velocicoaster, of course, for the third time. It is the best ride in the park, okay? Can recommend. Honestly, my top 5 parks rides were Velocicoaster, Hulk, Rip Ride Rocket, Spooderman, I like the 3D thing, and then Hagrid. You gotta do those 5 rides, okay? Very cool, very nice ride. And then day 4 goes, and I'm like, okay. So I booked with Spirit Airlines, and my cousin goes, oh, you should book a seat right now, because they can kick you out of the flight, and that would be not a bad thing. So I pay money to book a flight, a seat right there, okay? I'm like, okay, $30 in the grand scheme of things is not that bad if I get to go home today and not stuck in the airport. Boy, was I wrong. Um, it was not fun. First, at 3:30, that's my flight time. I'm like, okay, it's supposed to be 2-hour flight. Not that bad. Um, so, I go, and then at, like, around 2 hours later, it's gonna get delayed due to weather. Okay, fine. Whatever. My flight on the way here got delayed by weather. Doesn't matter. Then 2 hours go by. Flight, okay, we get on. Then where, then we board the plane. Okay. So I'm like, okay, we chilling. Okay, I'll get home a bit later than expected. But no, I'll get home. And that's what matters, right? And then, guess what happened? We sit there for like another 2 hours not doing anything. Apparently, we had a mechanical error that the pilot was just not telling us about. Which, you know, might be a slight issue. Like, okay, whatever. So he fixes a mechanical issue with the plane. We good to move. We're about to get in line for the takeoff thing, which apparently the pilot kept telling us we were in line for the takeoff thing, but we weren't moving. So he first says we gotta go to the tarmac to fill up gas because we ran out of gas waiting for the guy to make the mechanical thing. And I'm like, okay. We move to the tarmac. They fill up gas, and they give us like the driest cookies, like a biscuit, about the size of half a Ritz cracker, and like uh, one sip of water for our troubles. And the entire plane laughed at them. But they I don't, and then it started, so obviously the flight at this point delayed like 4 hours. Um, no, and then they were like, okay, if you want to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom now, we'll wait for you, and then and then everyone's like, okay, we go to the bathroom. Like, okay, we're exiting the tarmac. Now, we need you to deplane. This, this is when I realized I got that feeling that I wasn't getting home that day, and there's a great chance that my flight might be getting canceled. But, you know, I had hope. How naive I was. Then we get home. No, then we deplaned, and the pilots went home. The pilots clocked out and went home. They were scheduled for a flight that didn't take off. The whole reason the flight got canceled is because when they deplaned the people, the pilots went home, and Spirit did not have any other pilots to get or fly us home. I was in shambles. I was by myself in a city that I do not know. Luckily, I met a person on the plane in the similar situation to me. He had just recently moved he recently moved from Florida to my state, where I was going, with his dad. And his mom, he was living with his mom. But he was also flying alone like me, so I basically started talking to him. And, oh, I forgot to mention, my phone's at 11% because there was no charger on the plane. This was a great thing to be in, the situation. I was completely screwed. And so, they're like, okay, make your way down to the Spirit International place. And Spirit didn't just cancel my flight, they canceled 2 other flights. So it was a huge line. So we got to the place. First of all, we stood in the wrong line. And then some Spirit guy kept saying, oh. And then I talked to the Spirit representative. They were like, yo, you're in the wrong line. So I rushed to the other line, which was basically a 2-hour line to talk with some people. Okay. That might be a problem. 2 hours to talk with, to hopefully fly tomorrow. At this point, I'm thinking, because there's no way I'm flying today. But before I did that, my friend went back, was like, I'm not staying in this line, I'm going back home. And I'm like, okay. What's going through my mind is, I don't have a place to stay. I might be sleeping in departing flights, which might not be the worst thing, but if I'm sleeping in departing flights, I'm not sleeping. I'm just gonna watch videos on my phone all day. because I don't trust myself to wake up, because I'm also a heavy sleeper, and it is in the middle of an airport. And the reason that in departing flights is because I'm 18, and most hotels have a requirement that you have to be 21 to check in, but you can fly at the age of 18 by yourself. This was an issue. A slight oversight. And I'm like, okay, they better hopefully got me accommodations. So in the line, I'm just like, okay, I gotta charge my phone, step one. And then so I asked to borrow someone else's phone, and the guy in front of me. And I called my parents saying, this is the situation. And I was like, okay, they need I was like, can you find me a flight and a hotel? Because from what I'm hearing in the line, the Spirit Airlines people won't do it. And I met some other people in the flight, and they were also cracking jokes at Spirit. Like, everyone was mad. It was not a pleasant sight to be in. But then, so, my mom phoned me. She goes, yeah, we got you a flight for tomorrow at noon. And then, most of my worries just went away. I was like, okay, that's half the problem done. Sleeping in departing flights isn't the end of the world, but at least I'm getting home tomorrow, which is great, because the Spirit Airlines were giving us flights for like 4 days afterwards. I'm like, what am I going to do here for 4 days? So I want to go home. And so I tried to go to Emirates, and I was like, hey, can you fly me to my destination? They're like, we don't fly there. And I'm like, what about these couple of cities near my destination? And I accidentally mistook one of them for Maine instead of Connecticut, which, oops. So I could have had my mom pick me up from Connecticut, but Maine, there was no chance. So I was like, okay, thank you, see ya. And then went to the line, met a couple of like college students who were like attacking Spirit, and then they were like, okay, Spirit, like, we'll give you a refund, or we'll reschedule your flight. And the refund, I still haven't gotten yet. This was like a month ago at this point. We've done everything we can. And I'm pretty sure the refund is sounding to be $50 out of the $130 ticket, plus the $29 fee that I paid for my seat. And then I was like, okay, I'm kind of stranded. I get to the front of the line. I'm like, okay. They're like, oh yeah, we can give you a flight. The guy I was talking to was like, I don't want to be your mode, and I'm going to be the least helpful person. I'm like, okay. Can you just give me the refund? I have a flight for tomorrow that I can get on to go home. And what about hotel accommodations? He's like, since it was originally delayed by weather, we don't have to give you a hotel accommodation. I'm like, what do you mean it was delayed by weather? You canceled the flight. I'm stuck here because of you. Your pilots went home by clocking in. They're like, well, we're done our job. See you guys. You're on your own. Good luck, idiots. What? So I'm like, fine. Does the hotel in the room takes 18-year-olds? Because I can't check into most hotels. And they're like, you should. So I run to the hotel. It's full. I'm like, they give me a list of hotels. I call my home. I'm like, I don't have a place to stay right now. So they're like, okay, we'll try to figure something out. So I'm going through the list of hotels. I get on Discord. I talk to my friends. I'm like trying to talk to my friends. They're trying to cheer me up here. But they're also laughing at my situation. I'm in complete peril. I almost have a mental breakdown. Not really, but I'm like really tensed up. Cause I've never been in this situation before. And Uh, so my parents finally, I get 3/4 of down to the list. It was a long list, by the way, and most of those things were like, hey, yeah, we don't take 18-year-olds, sucks to suck. And my parents finally call. They're like, we got a hotel for you. And I'm like, yes. I call an Uber, go to the hotel. I set all my alarms to the really annoying bam, bam, bam sound. And I'm like, okay, I cannot wait to leave. And then I go to sleep, go to the hotel, airport like 4 hours before this flight. I'm a heavy sleeper. I do not want to miss this flight. I do not want to wake up, get to a hotel like 3 hours or 2 hours early yet, get home, and it was so stressful the entire time. I can't. It was a experience to say the least. The first 4 days were fun. The last 2 were pain.